Well, this is the PCC Austin farm. Right now we're in the hoop house where we grow things that like it hot. So things like okra, tomatoes, basil. But the PCC Austin farm is an operation that PCC developed 3 years ago in collaboration with the Chicago Botanic Gardens Windy City Harvest Program in order to address food access in the Austin community. So what we want to do is create access to a needed resource, which is food, fresh food, nutritious, organically and locally grown in the Austin community, which is a Chicago food desert. So it is priced market low. Nothing at our farm stand is more than $2.25. And so that makes it pretty affordable for individuals interested in buying any one of our menu items or all of them. On any given farm stand day, we have up to 18 items that we have available for sale, all harvested less than 24 hours before point of sale. So it's nutrient dense at the time that you're taking it home and eating it. And even if you're keeping it for a week or two, it keeps the best because it's just been harvested and it's gonna keep the longest. We do retail sales to the Sugar Beet Food Co-op, and we also do retail sales to organizations like Midwest Foods through the Chicago Botanic Garden outlet, retail outlets. Part of the mission of this farm was to obviously grow food, which is a practical thing, right? But beyond the practical measure of growing food and having it available for individuals and families to buy and consume, the neighborhood has come together. Our site is visited by many, many people who are interested in both knowing what we're doing, but our neighbors come together in our allotment area where they can grow food for free that they wish to grow and that they come and harvest. They weed, they water, they make sure that there aren't pests or disease growing in their plots. So they are learning how to garden. They come together to do it. We interact with them outside the four walls of the health center, and that's created community in a way that we, when we developed the operation, had no idea that we would be doing. And also the idea of positive activity deterring negative activity is very important for us, because by having such a positive operation here, it also deters some of the negative activity that an empty lot might welcome, which is what this site was before we developed it into a farm.
Sugar Beet's mission is all connected to food, so it makes sense to connect, directly growing people connecting to growing their own food. Beyond just us selling it, we want people to connect to their community, to their environment, and growing your own food is a really perfect way to do that.
This is my urban farm, my home garden, so where I produce the food for myself and my family, and I also hold workshops here for the community to raise awareness around urban gardening. On site, I have hugelkultur demonstrative beds where I grow vegetables intensively, and I have honeybees. I also have chickens, and I also have fruit trees, berries, and a small greenhouse that I built to extend my growing season. Hugelkultur is, it means hill gardening in German. It's a style of gardening that is traditional in cold climates, but it's also used in tropical places as well. Reason being that soil, to improve fertility, folks, instead of composting and off-site and putting the compost back on the soil, people have developed ways to compost within their soil. So basically, it's simply you compost wood and organic matter right inside your vegetable beds, and you plant into that material. The benefits being drought tolerance. The wood that you bury sort of soaks up and acts like a sponge. So as climate change, as weather patterns become more unpredictable, and in areas in the tropics around the equator you can go through droughts, it sort of builds resilience and small farming and sustainable ag. It also adds fertility, like long-term fertility, so you don't need to add chemical fertilizers. And it's also a way to just keep fertility and organic matter on site and to use what's locally available instead of importing things from off your site to boost your food production.
I grow the pickles first. You put the seeds in the bottom. Then they grow like on the top of the leaf. Then I did this. We just grow like, we just put them in each spot and we just pick them up and we can eat them.
The farm started back in 2015 and it got started by Phil Carmody. He had this idea that he wanted chickens in his backyard. But this was a more realistic thing. It would help with building jobs and opportunities for warriors in the community. When we were beginning the pickle enterprise, we said, hey, we could grow our own crops and use the seed to jar model. So right now we're producing the cucumbers, dill, fennel that are all used in the cucumbers. But the goal by this end of the year and for next year is to have everything used in the pickles besides the vinegar. That's many years in the making. To be used to make seed to jar come to fruition. But here on the farm, the pathways are all wheelchair accessible. These planters in the middle row here are varying heights for our participants with different motor function capabilities, whether it's bending over, from a chair position. They're accessible in the means that they can help out on the farm in any capacity. They can walk right up to this, stare at it, and we can just say, hey, find the cucumbers, and they just go, twist them, and pluck them off. And it's a very rewarding experience because it's instant gratification for them. They get to see their product right away. What this does is open doors, opportunity knocks. That's why we have 3 doors, because we're always pushing kids to find new opportunities.